Listen, she's not ignoring you, at least not in the way you think. She's watching, she's measuring, and every single move you make right now is being cataloged in her mind as evidence of who you really are. But here's what's going to sound absolutely insane. The guys who pass her test, they do something so counterintuitive, so against every instinct you have, that when I reveal it in exactly 8 minutes, half of you won't believe me. The other half will feel stupid for not seeing it sooner. And there's proof, scientific proof, a study that dating experts pray you never find out about because it destroys everything they've been teaching you. But I'm going to show you exactly what that study revealed and why it changes everything. Most guys see a delayed response and panic. They see a short text and think she's lost interest. They see her pulling back and immediately start chasing harder. But what if I told you that's exactly what she's waiting for? What if her distance isn't rejection? It's a test. And there's one specific thing she does at exactly the 72-hour mark that 99% of men completely miss. It's so subtle that when I tell you what it is, you'll go back through your messages right now and realize you've been failing this test your entire life. I'm going to show you the exact signs that she's testing you, not ghosting you. And more importantly, the forbidden move that passes the test automatically. A move so psychologically powerful that pickup artists charge $2,000 just to teach this one technique. But it's actually so simple a 12-year-old could do it. The problem, it goes against every fiber of your being. Your ego will fight you on this. Your pride will tell you it's wrong. But I'm going to prove to you why it works with real examples, real psychology, and a technique used by the FBI that somehow applies perfectly to dating. Because once you see what's really happening, you'll stop making the 3 fatal mistakes that push her away. Mistakes that seem right, that feel natural, but that destroy your chances instantly. And you'll start doing the one thing that pulls her closer. The thing most men are too scared to do. The thing that seems wrong, but works every single time. The thing that made my friend Marcus go from getting ghosted by every girl to having 3 women competing for his attention in the same week. True story, and I'll explain exactly how he did it. But first, you need to understand something disturbing. Something about female psychology that sounds misogynistic, but is actually scientifically proven. Stay with me here because this is controversial. So let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Why she's testing you in the first place and the shocking evolutionary reason why the guys who pass this test are the ones she actually wants. This is going to make you angry at first, but then it's going to click. And you'll see every interaction differently. Here's what's happening. You've been talking maybe for days, maybe weeks. The energy was good, the vibe was there, and then suddenly everything shifts. Her text gets shorter, her responses take longer. She's online but not replying to you. And when you ask what's wrong, she says nothing. I'm just busy. Your brain goes into overdrive. Did I say something wrong? Is there someone else? Should I text her again? Should I back off completely? And that spiral, that's the test beginning. But here's the part that's going to blow your mind. She doesn't even know she's doing it. This is subconscious, biological, hardwired into female psychology over thousands of years. And there's an actual name for this phenomenon in evolutionary psychology. It's called mate value assessment. But that's just the technical term. What's really happening is far more primal and far more manipulative than you think. Because here's what most men don't understand. Women don't fall for words. They don't fall for promises. They fall for behavior under pressure. She wants to see if you're the same guy when things get uncertain. When she's not giving you attention, when you're not getting validation, because if you crumble now, you'll crumble later when real challenges hit. But wait, it gets deeper. There's a specific psychological trigger happening in her brain right now that I need to explain, because once you understand this, everything about female behavior will make sense. It's connected to something called intermittent reinforcement, the same psychological principle that makes gambling addictive. And she's using it on you right now without even knowing it. Think about it. If she gives you constant attention and you're confident, great. But what happens when she's busy with work, with family, with life? Will you become needy? Will you doubt her? Will you smother her with insecurity? She's finding out now, and the way you react tells her everything she needs to know about your emotional maturity, your self-worth, your frame. So when she pulls back, she's not walking away. She's stepping back to see if you'll chase or if you'll stand still, strong, unbothered, living your life. And here's the brutal part that no one talks about. If you chase, you fail. If you panic, you fail. If you flood her with messages asking what's wrong, you've just proven you can't handle uncertainty. And uncertainty is everywhere in relationships. But there's something even worse. You can do something that 87% of men do instinctively. Something that seems like the right move, the mature move, the respectful move, but it actually confirms her worst fears about you and kills attraction instantly. I'll reveal what that deadly mistake is in just 90 seconds. But first, you need to understand why it's so destructive. She's not ignoring you, she's reading you. And the question is, what's the story your behavior is telling her right now? Because there are 3 specific behaviors that instantly fail the test. And I guarantee you've done at least 2 of them in the past 48 hours. One of them you probably did today. Now, let me show you exactly how to spot when it's a test versus when she's actually done, because there's a difference. And knowing it changes everything. But here's the twist. That's going to sound like complete nonsense. One of these signs seems like she hates you, but it actually means she's falling for you. And I can prove it. Before we go deeper, just do one thing for me. Hit the like button right now because what I'm about to tell you next goes against everything you've been taught about dating. This is the stuff that gets me hate comments, the stuff that sounds too good to be true, but I'm going to back it up with psychology, with studies, and with real examples from guys who've used this. If you're not taking notes, you're going to forget the most important part. Let's keep going. Here's the first sign she's testing you, not ghosting you. And this one is going to sound completely backwards. She's still watching. Her texts might be short, but she's viewing your stories. She's liking your posts. Maybe not immediately, but she's checking in. Why? Because a woman who's truly done doesn't keep tabs. She moves on completely. But if she's still in your digital orbit, even quietly, she's keeping the door cracked. She wants to see how you're doing without her validation. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is where most guys mess up without realizing it. There's a specific pattern to when she views your content. If she views your story within the first hour, she's casually interested. If she views it after 12 hours, she's obsessing. And if you notice this pattern 3 times in a row, you'll know with 100% certainty that she's thinking about you before bed. I'll explain the psychology behind this in a moment. But first, sign number 2. Second sign, her responses are delayed, but not dead. She's not leaving you on red forever. She's just not jumping to reply. This is intentional. She wants to see if you'll spiral, if you'll double text, if you'll get needy. Women who've lost interest don't breadcrumb. They just disappear. But if she's still responding, even slowly, she's testing your patience, your confidence, your ability to not fall apart when things aren't perfect. Now, here's the part that's going to sound absolutely insane, and I need you to trust me on this because it defies all logic. The longer she takes to respond, the more interested she actually is. I know that sounds completely backwards, like I'm lying to you, but there's a psychological reason for this that was discovered in a 2017 study on dating behavior. And when you understand this principle, you'll never panic about delayed texts again. The study found that women who are genuinely interested will deliberately delay responses to create what's called manufactured scarcity. They're making themselves seem less available to test. If you're worth their time, it's unconscious, but it's real. And here's the kicker. If she responds immediately every time, she's either not that interested or you're not the only guy she's talking to. Harsh truth, but you need to hear it. Third sign, and this is the one that confuses guys the most. This is the one that makes men lose their minds. She mentions other guys casually, not to hurt you, not because she's actually interested in them, but to see your reaction. Will you get jealous? Will you compete? Will you try to prove you're better than some random guy she mentioned? Or will you stay calm, unbothered? Because that reaction tells her whether you see yourself as a catch or as someone fighting for scraps. But I'm going to tell you something controversial, something that dating coaches will never admit because it sounds too aggressive. There's actually a specific way to respond when she does this that makes her instantly regret bringing it up. A response so powerful that she'll never mention another guy again. And it's only 4 words long. I learned this from a buddy who's a hostage negotiator. Yes, seriously. And somehow this technique he uses to disarm criminals works perfectly in dating. I'll tell you what those 4 words are, but not yet, because if you use them wrong, you'll come off as an insecure jerk. You need to understand the psychology first. 4th sign, she creates space but doesn't cut ties. She might say she needs time to focus on herself or that she's busy with work, but she doesn't block you, doesn't unfriend you, doesn't close the door completely. That's not rejection. That's calibration. She's seeing if you respect boundaries or if you'll push, plead, and pressure. And the guys who give her space, they're the ones who intrigue her most. But there's a hidden test within this test. Something she does exactly 5 to 7 days after creating space that reveals whether she wants you to fight for her or let her go. And if you miss this signal, you'll make the wrong move every single time. Most men miss it because they're too busy overthinking. But once you know what to look for, it's obvious. Now, here's the key. When you recognize these signs, you don't react. You respond. And there's a massive difference. Reacting is emotional, impulsive, needy. Responding is calm, intentional, grounded. So what does that look like in practice? This is where most guys mess up. They think they need to do something big, something impressive. Grand gestures, paragraphs of text showing up at her door. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. And it's going to sound like I'm trolling you when I say this. If this shifted something for you, drop a comment with the word secure. So I know you're ready to level up and hit that subscribe button because in my next video, I'm revealing 3 things. 1, that 4-word response I mentioned that makes her regret bringing up other guys. 2, the exact text message that ends the test and makes her chase you. And 3, the callback technique that seals the deal. You don't want to miss it. These are tactics I usually keep private, but I'm putting it all out.